So, well, our home campaign ends with a defeat. What were your thoughts after that?
Yeah, disappointing. But the other fact is we're bare bones at the moment, so we've done well to get 2-0, be 2-0 up. Then we just seemed to really comfortable. We was really comfortable, but then that sums up our season, really, doesn't it? Being comfortable in games, winning, and then we just fall to pieces. So Nuneaton are obviously in the playoffs. They find a way to win. They have that bit of team spirit about them, which helps. So it's fair play to them for coming from 2-0 down to win 3-2.
Yeah, it was a great start, wasn't it? Was there an element of sort of shackles off about that first 20 minutes or so? There was a bit of freedom about them now. The pressure's off a little bit, perhaps, or does that not?
No, because I think we've played good football. We've played better football before than what we've played in the first 20 minutes or so today. So it's not a case of shackles off. The shackles are always off, especially in that attacking third. Go and express yourself and obviously create chances, score goals. That's what we want from the group. So it's just disappointing how we fell apart. But listen, it's football. We get on with it. We'll worry about next season now.
And as you say, you were down to the bare bones with just one outfield player on the bench. Did that have an effect in the end? Were there tired players there who you might normally have replaced? Was that a factor towards the end of the game?
I wouldn't say tired players, no. I think the lads all look fine. Athletically, they're fine. Physically, there's not a problem. It's just, as individuals, we've got to get the most out of ourselves. So if our mindset is we don't want to work, then people won't work. And that's the unfortunate thing. We shouldn't have to keep driving it from the side. Players should have their own determination to keep the ball out the net, to work harder for each other, work harder to create chances. So that just comes down to an individual thing. And again, I go back to the group mentality that Nuneaton have got. They find a way to win, and that's because there's team spirit.
One more game to go. Hitchin next week. Will you first of all have some more numbers in the squad, and then also, I mean, we spoke last week about what you expect from players at the end. Now, should be a good following there next week as well. So you want to finish on a high, I guess.
Always. We never plan to lose a football match, so to finish a season losing 3 on the bounce would be an absolute disaster. I've just said that in the changing room to the lads. So you can't finish the season losing 3 in a row. We've got to go to Hitchin and get 3 points. Just a bit of self-pride, go and win the game, finish on a high. We've got a group of fans that are coming down to watch us, so let's send them away with a smile. That'll be the last memory of this season for them.
How much has the summer plans now taken precedent? Because obviously it's not long to go before the playing finishes, so I guess you're hard at work now, planning the squad, who stays, who goes and things like that.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, myself and Jeppo, for about 6 weeks, so we know majority of things that we want to do. It's just whether we can do it. We've identified some players that we also want to bring in as well. But still, you have to get them players over the line. So it's not as easy as we'll just go out there and say, "Come on, you're coming in." It's going to be a long summer. I'm looking forward to my holiday for 2 weeks. That's coming up at the end of May. So that'll be a nice break.
Just a word for the fans of, obviously, because this is the last home game. They've been fantastic all season in great numbers. 900 here again today. Must be, for the players to have that kind of home support is fantastic, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I think that's where we need to stand up and be men. The higher numbers that we seem to get in, the less we perform. So that can be frustrated. Is it frustrating from our point of view? Is it a case of we can't play in front of a crowd? I'm not so sure. So I think there may also be a little bit where the players have probably took the foot off the gas and thought we can't get in the playoffs. So let's kind of look after ourselves to a certain extent. Listen, I totally get it, but it's frustrating, and I think from our point of view, you actually learn a lot about the characters. But just going back to the fans, they've been fantastic all season, and long may it continue. Obviously, next season we have our challenge will be to get in the playoffs, and hopefully that's what we can do. Hopefully we'll stop conceding goals here. That'd be a good start. So so with a bit of luck, we'll make the fans a lot happier next season.
I'm sure we'll talk at Hitchin next week, but just in the meantime, just looking back on your first, well, nearly a full season as a manager, and obviously still playing a bit too. But how have you found it? Have you enjoyed it as much as you thought you might, or has it been harder? I mean, how did you see it before, and how has it been in reality?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's an emotional roller coaster. You can't switch off. sometimes you go home and you don't actually sleep after a game. So that's probably the hardest bit, because your mind goes into overdrive. But that's football at the end of the day. I think when you want to do well, and I want to do well as an individual, the club wants to do well as a club. So I think we all put that pressure on ourselves, and I think the pressure for next season is to get into the playoffs. We've performed reasonably well this season from when we come in, where we was in the league table, to where we're potentially going to finish. So there's no complaints. We have had opportunities where we could probably break into the playoffs. We've just not taken them. So like I say, next year that will be our challenge.